2, 1. It's that time of the day. Welcome to the 4th Street Sports Show, an award-winning student podcast covering all things Golden Eagles.
Welcome to the 4th Street Sports Show here on WUSM 88.5. I am your host, or I should say interim host for today, Charlie Luttrell. Austin is out. We think he might have had a little too much fun at the Pelicans game last night, so I'm filling in for him. But I've got my guys here, to be here for another week, really packed full of action, some great games too. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into the Eagle Eye before we talk some football. So starting out with golf, we had the golf guys on when they won their first tournament, and they just won their second tournament. Could you tell us a little about that, Dima?
Yeah, and just back to the Pelicans game, I just want to say Charlie's probably still suffering from PTSD. Kelly Olynyk called game Kelly Bird, that was tough. So that's tough for the Pelicans. But let's get into golf, the more important sport. The men's golf team captured their second tournament title of the season with a win at the Little Rock Invitational. They erased a 3-stroke deficit over the final 18 holes, and Ryan Dupuis led the Golden Eagles to victory with his first collegiate individual title. Cameron Clark finished 8th, and Robbie Latner tied for 14th. The team will now head to the White Sands Bahamas Invitational in Nassau, and they are currently ranked number 48 in the nation and one of the favorites in this tournament behind Duke, who's ranked number 43. That's a lot of good things for the golf team.
It's going to be a fun time in the Bahamas. We're kind of jealous.
We will be there.
Oh, yes, we will be there.
I wish we were covering that one. We'll have to look at the budget for that one. Yeah. Looking at volleyball now, Southern Miss Volleyball got back in the win column with a series sweep against the Arkansas State Red Wolves. Mia Wesley opened the first match with 23 kills and reigning Sunbelt Defensive Player of the Year. The Sunbelt Defensive Player of the Week. Let's not give her too much credit yet. Well, you never know, though. Defensive Player of the Week, Megan Harris. She led the defense with 23 digs. Setter Kenzie Smith also set a season-high 16 digs in the match. Kara Atkinson, who previously was 4th Street Player of the Week a number of weeks ago, she led the attack in the second match as the Golden Eagles took care of business in 3 sets. Golden Eagles are 14-8 on the season and 6-4 in Sunbelt play for a 4th place standing in the West Division. They face Georgia State next in the final home series of the season starting Friday, October 28th. It's a winnable series for Southern Miss as the Panthers are 1-9 in Sunbelt Conference play.
And, I got to check up on how the Sunbelt tournament will work because I really don't know the seeding yet. Couldn't find anything, so I'm going to have to talk to their SIDs. We'll probably have more information, hopefully, by next show on how the tournaments will work for these teams. But moving on to soccer. Soccer has not won a game since September 17th. It's been a rough season for them. But they did earn a point this week with a 2-2 draw against Arkansas State. Esmeralda Figueroa she played a part in both of their goals yesterday on Sunday, scoring a goal and then earning an assist to Luba Shashuba on the goal. So the Golden Eagles dropped their matchup earlier in the week against Appalachian State 2, and they're 1-9-4 on the season with a 1-5-3 conference standing that has them tied for last place in the division with Troy. So they close out their season this Thursday, October 27th. Big football game on that day, but you can go to soccer too at 2 p.m. for another matchup against the Raging Cajuns, and that will be senior night as well. And then going on to the big news coming up, Southern Miss football is returning to the Rock this Thursday night with a primetime matchup against the Raging Cajuns, 6:30 p.m. It will be on ESPN2, correct?
Yes.
That is correct.
So there will be a lot of stuff going on Thursday. No classes. We're going to have a blackout going on, $6 tickets, and also a Will Hall costume contest. I know you talked about that, Dima, to Will Hall today.
Yep.
What's that going to be like?
I don't know. I think they're just, you can...
All I'm going to say is I'm going to win.
Yeah, you won't see me dressing up like that, I guess. But Will Hall did say today that his wife would be the judge.
So we'll have to see. I thought it was kind of funny. They were like, we're trying to set a world record for most Will Halls.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what's the record.
Are we bringing Guinness in for that?
It'll be very interesting to see. I hope the students,
Proof of birth certificate.
I hope the students take part of that because I really kind of do want to see that.
I don't know if y'all seen that Twitter account, like No Context College Football. I could see like the ESPN2 cameras like looking in on a few students in Will Halls, and that'd just be like no context for college football.
I think it will definitely go viral, and they're actually going to give the first 1,000 students a black T-shirt with a gold tie. If I was a student, I would go full on it. But anyways, that will be pretty much from football. I did want to give a shout out to esports. The Rainbow Six team is 6-0 right now, and they went through a little drama this week, but got over it. There was some drama with the Halo squad. They were playing, subbing in players that they probably weren't supposed to. Don't know if that's been resolved, but you can see esports full statement on that and how they handled it. They actually left the Halo League right now, so the future of how they're going to compete in that sport, which is a new sport for the program, it's really unclear on what's going to go on forward, but we might try to see with them what they're doing with that. But anyways, Austin is not here, but he did produce a wrap for us this week, going to recap what happened over in San Marcos, so we'll take it over to Austin.
Southern Miss won its second straight thriller in back-to-back weeks on a late 53-yard touchdown by Chandler Pittman with just 32 seconds left to cap off a 20-14 win versus Texas State.
It was a full verse contest, and I knew I could get behind the corner. I got behind him, caught the ball. I seen the guy in my blind spot. I gave him a move. I tried to get to the end zone as fast as I can. That's all I seen. And when I got there, man, my heart would just feel warm.
As soon as they scored, we rallied the offense up. We didn't even watch the extra point. And I said, look, we're going to be in a 2-minute drill drive. We just got to get it started. We've got one timeout.
Hall gave high praise to Pittman after his stellar play.
Who's a great success story, a young kid that's been really good for us, who's coming off a knee injury, and I'm just so happy for him, too. And that's what we were doing. We had gotten first down or two, and we had gotten it to 4th and 4. We tried to pop a run there, called timeout. And then we had a good pass play with a guy wide open. Zach ends up scrambling and finds another guy, Chandler Pittman.
The game was pretty stagnant until late, with 2 TDs by both teams in the final 2 minutes.
Really just stay poised. Keep your poise and stay calm and collective. Just know that the offense always got our back, and we're going to continue to fight no matter what. As either on defense and offense, we just going to fight.
In the final seconds of the game, defensive back Natron Brooks called game on a pick after a Lane Hatcher heave.
We knew we had time. We knew we were prepared for this moment. This is what we in practice on this, 3 times a week, 4 times a week. So Coach Hall prepared us for those moments, I'm just really thankful that we were able to get to that moment.
Interviews courtesy of Kendall Duncan of WDAM.
So thank you, Austin, for that wrap. It seemed like a really fun game to be at. Unfortunately, this was the first away game that we weren't at, or one of us weren't at, so we did miss a fun game. But I think y'all all watched the game. So what are y'all's takeaways from this game?
Yeah, I think that something we've been saying so Jackson and I got on a Twitter space right after the game, so if you were listening to that, I'm just going to say what I said on there. The entire season is about the defense keeping the offense in the game just long enough so the offense can do something, right? And against Liberty, that didn't happen. And they had the opportunity to win that game several times, but they never capitalized on it. Against Arkansas State, the defense kept them in the game long enough that the offense eventually won the game. Same thing here. The defense kept them in the game long. Actually, there's no reason they should have lost the game. They should have won that game by a lot, honestly. But if they had a comparable offense for most of that game, they would have won that game by a lot. But that's not anything bad about Southern Miss's offense. They're just young and they're just inexperienced, and that's just the way it is. It's hard to go on the road and win. But the defense kept the score close, and when the offense really needed to score, they did it. So no matter what happened in the first 3 quarters, they still won the game.
Absolutely, and as good as the defense was, and they were great, the offense was on the flip side equally as ineffective for about 59 minutes until the big play from Wilkie to Pittman. But everybody talks about the defensive performance, right? 12 tackles for loss and 3 sacks. That is insane. But let me tell you something. Texas State also had 12 tackles for loss and 3 sacks. Just about the same level of production as the Southern Miss defense. The only difference is Southern Miss held Texas State to -6 rushing yards, and that probably proved to be the defense. Outside of one overly aggressive play at the end of the game, which allowed Texas State to get the lead, the defense was incredible, absolutely. But the offense still has to be fixed. That last play from Wilkie to Pittman, as great as it was, it's still like putting a Band-Aid on a cut where you need stitches, right? It's not the long-term fix. It kind of blankets all the criticism, and they'll get better, you would think, but they have to against Louisiana because that's too big of a contest to not have your offense ready to go.
Yeah, and one point I did want to make in this one was, the defense did what they needed to do. We can all agree on that. The offense was as ineffective as we thought it could be in this one. But I just want to do a quick shout out. I hope I'm not taking one of y'all's points, but Mason Hunt, what a man, what a legend of that game. He had probably the most impactful, maybe not the biggest play, we all know the biggest play, but most impactful, because if he gets tackled on that punt, the game, it's a different game. So just wanted to throw that out there. But overall, they find ways to win in the weirdest of ways. So crazy win for Southern Miss, but they needed it if they wanted to, stay in bowl contention.
I think that's exactly the thing, though. That they're not I don't expect Southern Miss to win this season, 40-0. Mm-hmm. This just not. They're gonna win these games 20-14, 17-14. They're gonna do just enough on offense to win the game because the defense keeps them in the game, and that's why they keep winning, because the defense is just lights out every single week. I asked Will Hall today why they didn't go for 2 on the goal line, and he said, well, it was because the tight ends. He gave some examples, but I really think the underlying thing is that they had so much confidence in their defense that they're not going to risk a blocked extra weird thing that happens, turnover, they take it back for 2, and then it's a 3-point game. I really think it's that confidence in the defense, that level of confidence just brings a whole new mentality to the offense that, okay, maybe we don't have it in the first half, but you know what? We're looking at the scoreboard, it's 6-0. We're one big play, one big Chandler Pittman play from just winning this game. Yep.
It's wild looking at the rankings for the defense, because the defense isn't even in the top 50 statistically, but it's like they are, I think a top 30 kind of unit or even higher, because I feel like they've been this was last year too, lots of situations where they got tired throughout the game because the offense couldn't produce. But outside of that one explosive play, which if you haven't looked at Ashton Hawkins, he leads the Sun Belt in receptions. He was going to be their top guy going in. He's a really skilled player. But outside of that, like you said, -6 rushing yards. They faced some really good rushers this season, and Texas State is not a rushing team, but any team to hold -6 yards throughout the game, and insane. With how the offense was performing, to be able to hold up physically on defense, that is impressive. People got to start taking notes, I think, nationally about what Southern Miss is doing on defense, because what was the high scoring game this year that they allowed? I think it was Miami, right?
30 points.
30, and it was 31, yeah. So, think of that. That's against guys like Henry Parrish. Obviously, Miami's not the team we thought they were, but still, that's against some really talented guys. So, again, the defense wins. I think we're going to be talking about Louisiana, but that's an experienced team. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can pull out a performance against them. They've done 2 crazy roller coaster finishes these last 2 weeks.
I really think that this week is going to be really different. I think this is going to be, there's something about it that's just different about this week. They're canceling classes because of this game. It's a blackout. It's the game Southern Miss fans have been circling almost all season. This is the game that they want. They're on national television. This is the game that, I really think you're going to see a different team. To what extent that holds, be in tune for our preview podcast later this week. But we'll see what happens, and I think just get out to the Rock, because I think you're going to see a heck of a football game on Thursday night on national television.
Well, that's pretty much all we got to say about the finish in San Marcos. Shout out to Chandler Pittman getting that crazy catch, too. It's nice to see him start getting involved with the offense. But Our big guest today for the show, I didn't spoil it, but I'm going to spoil it now if you haven't seen. We've got head coach of the Lady Eagles basketball team, Joye Lee-McNelis, and sophomore center, Melyia Grayson. If you haven't watched her, she's a beast in the paint. So we're going to be talking about what they've done this offseason, the work they put in, and, you know, how they're feeling about this upcoming season. Less than a month away, really. Actually,
2 weeks.
Exhibition is like 8 days, 9 days. So we're going to be talking to them about that. Stay tuned after the song.
the 4th Street Sports Show on Southern Miss Radio.
Welcome back to the 4th Street Sports Show. We've got a special interview today. It's basketball season, so we're going to talk to the Lady Eagles. We've got head coach Joye Lee-McNelis and sophomore center Melyia Grayson to the show. Just a little background. I'm pretty sure y'all know who Coach McNelis is, but she's entering her 19th season with the program with over 500 wins now to her name during her time here. And joining her, sophomore center Melyia Grayson, who was the CUSA Freshman of the Year in 2020 and is following an honorable mention all-conference season last year with an average of nearly 11 points per game and a team-high 5.8 rebounds per game. So thank y'all for coming. How are y'all doing? I know y'all just practiced. So.
Thank you guys for having us on. I really appreciate it. Also, Melyia was picked preseason second team All-Sun Belt, which that's really exciting as well. She's been out with a concussion, so she got to cheer from the sidelines today. You want to talk about Coach? She got to be Coach Grayson today. So let's get a little feedback from Coach Grayson from the sidelines.
I'll say from the sideline, you see way more, so you're able to like learn more and also to like push on your teammates and show them what they're doing wrong so they can correct it and just try to cheer them on, encourage them to be better, be the better versions of themselves that they can be there in practice. So it's kind of cool.
And have you ever had that experience before?
Yeah, I have. Last year. Yep. So it's probably my second time having to do this again. So.
I would rather be on the floor.
I mean, we were just looking at the schedule. The exhibition match coming up November 2nd, so it's right around the corner.
Oh, yeah.
Just how are y'all feeling just with the season coming up? What are the kind of feelings right now?
I'll say I'm excited because I think we have a lot of new pieces this year, and I think everybody is really more bought in and like ready to play their roles and do what they got to do to get the job done. So I think it's gonna be really fun.
You know, I think a couple of things. I agree with Melyia. You know, we've added some really nice pieces, and we return a solid core. I mean, we lose 5 players from last year's team to graduation, but we return Melyia Grayson, that was the team's leading rebounder and second leading scorer last year. You know, you return Dominique Davis, that was newcomer of the year last year and led our team in scoring, and led our team in assists, led our team in steals. She was our team's most valuable player last year. So you returned the 2 of them, and then you returned a much improved Rose Warren. You return a much improved Lauren Gross that's really and truly has really worked hard on their game and gotten better. Then you return a starter in Bracayla Gray that has been out with walking pneumonia. She'd been really sick for 2 weeks. We couldn't figure out what was wrong with her. She was short of breath, fatigue, was not like Bracayla. She had been tested for COVID, the flu, and been tested for everything except pneumonia. Continued to get worse. We decided we'd send her back to the clinic. They decided they'd do a chest x-ray and found out she had walking pneumonia. And so she's been out for a couple of weeks. But you return Bracayla Gray, that was our defensive player of the year on our team. So you return a solid core. No, we do not have Deja Almond. That was their starting point guard for 4 years. You don't have a Kelsey Jones that was truly our most efficient player on our team per minutes played. You don't have an energy player like a Destiny Smith, or you lose an efficient rebounder like Fess Hawkins, but you return a core. And so we felt like as a staff, if we could take that core and add some pieces like Jacoria Bracey from Ole Miss, like Femi Funis, that is from Seton Hall, that is a grad transfer that's coming in that will have 2 years left to play. We signed Lonnie Cordenfield, a point guard out of Northwest Florida State. And you take the 3 of them, and then you add a freshman, Sharday Watkins, into it. That kind of gives us a good mix. The good thing is, with Melyia Grayson being out, Asia Leak, which has been in that sophomore class, she's had to step up and practice a lot and have had to shield a lot of the physical play from those guys because of not having Melyia, and she's really improved. As has Emma Walhoff, that never got off our bench last year. she's really shooting the basketball extremely well.
Just from the start of the offseason to now, how would you evaluate, what you've seen from the squad and the work they've put in?
I think we've really improved. On a scale of 1 to 10, I think our improvement level is a solid 8. I think there's a lot of improvement. My biggest concern at this point is just continuing to understand each other on the floor. For example, today, there was some frustration with our turnovers because we think someone should cut here and they're not. Or, well, why wasn't she looking here? She was wide open. So I think those are things you can clean up. And it's what I said in a group when we huddled was, you can't throw the ball. Yes, she was open, but she didn't know she was open. You saw she was open, but she did not know. So you can't pass the basketball to her. So those are things we've got to work on. Things that we can control is our turnovers, our offensive rebound, and defending the basketball. Those are things we have to really bring every single day. And I think the other pieces will come and fall in as the season goes on.
Communication is like one of the most important parts of basketball and teamwork. It's like one of the ones that people don't understand. They think it's all about shooting. They think it's all about rebounding. But communication and like being mentally present so important. So I understand what you're saying about that. Melyia, I just want to talk to you about just what's some ways coming last year, freshman, as we said, of the year, right, in the Sun Belt, and
well, yeah, she's sophomore, but this will be her 3rd year. So
right.
Yeah.
But anyways, just what is the main thing you're trying to improve on from last season?
For me, I'll say being more consistent and getting in better shape. As far as last year, I wasn't so consistent, but just getting my numbers up higher and being able to play more minutes, I think that's the biggest goal for this year.
And Coach really praised you earlier when we were at the media day about the work you put in conditioning. Could you just talk about, how you approached this offseason and really what you wanted to get out of it?
I think it's really all about if you really want to do it or you really don't. So, I mean, like, that's just what my mindset was, that I really wanted to get better at it. So I just put the time in, took the time out to go do it. Got with my coaches, our strength trainer, and all them. They just helped me to get better at it. So.
And kind of how does that help your confidence starting the season? I've heard somebody, I don't know where I heard it from, but they said you don't want to be the same player as you were the previous year. How do you feel entering the season on a standpoint of getting ready to play?
I think it made me feel a lot better as far as being out there. I think that I'll be more with getting in shape and all that. I think it'll make me be more consistent with everything. So I think it's gonna turn out good.
And Coach kind of touched on this a little bit, but I want to get your perspective on this. What have you seen from your teammates and maybe the vibe in the locker room going into the season?
I think it's a really good vibe as far as from last year. I think, like I said earlier, a lot more people actually bought in, and we really care about trying to make it to what our end goal is. So I think with us doing that every day and during practice, it's going to all show at the end. So,
Coach, obviously the first year in the Sun Belt for the basketball team. Obviously, we don't want you to give out any game plans or anything, but just could you talk about just the competition level in the Sun Belt this season and what Southern Miss fans should be looking forward to when they go to a Lady Eagles basketball?
And that's what's so key about our guys practicing with us, because the Sun Belt is a much faster league than what we played in Conference USA. They're going to score in 7 seconds. They're going to score in 8 seconds or put up a shot that quick. And if you look at the numbers, I mean, they shoot 600 threes, and they'll shoot it quick. And they were joking with me at Sunbelt Media Day, and they said, well, Coach, you only shot 300 threes. And or 200 and something threes. And I said, yeah, but we made 30-something%. I said, I would have a stroke if my team shot 600 threes and only shot 25%. There's no way. I just told them today, shooting a mid-range jump shot, if you're shooting 18%, I'm going to break your arm if you keep shooting it. No way. But they're going to shoot it fast and they're going to play fast. And that's the great thing about these guys is that we've got to learn to play at a pace under control faster than we've ever played. And that was today with our struggle against the guys, is that we could not match their pace under control. When we tried to match their pace, we turned the ball over. And so that's why they're so important to us, is to be able to control it. And not that we will always play that pace, but defensively we have to slow that pace down. So transition defense is key, half-court defense is key. And offensively, because when we slowed down offensively and we were composed, we scored. So we've got to be able to control the tempo of the game, because the Sun Belt's usually going to play 4 guards in 1 post. I like to play 2 posts, so we're very different. I've just got to make sure my 1 post can guard a guard in their action. So that's going to be a challenge for us, to be very honest with you.
A lot of high-low stuff in Neil's offense.
Yeah, and that's what I like to play. That's what I've always played. And, I was talking to my son that coaches at Arkansas State, and he says, Mom, the only team in the league that plays like you is Texas State. There's nobody else. They play high-low. They run some of the same stuff you all run. Nobody else does. That's going to be the only team you face that's going to be like you. And so we're having to make some adjustments to be able defensively to make some changes, and then offensively make some changes. And that's where those guys come in. And that's the challenge that, I had for Melyia, and you heard me say that we want Melyia. Melyia averaged 19 minutes a game last year. And a lot of that was foul trouble, conditioning. And this year, we need her to average about 30 minutes a game. We got to keep her on the floor. And that's extremely important for us to be able to have some success.
Is it good to have that sense of identity, though, that you're one of the only Sun Belt teams that plays that way?
I think so. And I think that, it's just different. So they've got to adjust to us as well as we've got to adjust to them.
Melyia, I bet you like to hear, I'm going to get 30 minutes a game. Just overall, how are you feeling about, this transition and adjustment, Coach was talking about? How has it been to kind of go through that in practices?
It's been a challenge, but you just got to fight through it if you really want to get to that point. So if you do it now, it's going to come to you in the game. So just got to keep at it.
And offensively, what you talked about defense adjusting to the pace, but what do you think you're going to bring in the Sun Belt and ways that you're looking to expand your offense that the Sun Belt might not be ready for?
I think, like she said, we run a lot of different. We run a lot of stuff for posts, and they're more guard oriented. So I think we're gonna have a lot more open looks as far as with our size versus their size.
And Coach, you talked about the new faces a little bit, but how do you think they're going to play? Could you just talk about how you think they're going to play into this season and what y'all are doing this year?
I think some of our new faces really are game changers for us. They've just got to feel comfortable. Jacoria Bracey from Ole Miss, like I said, we had recruited her out of high school, and she played 2 years at Ole Miss. And we've told her this. I think she's a game changer. She is really a game changer. She can play on both ends of the ball. She can shoot it. She can drive it. She can board it. She can pass it. She played for her mother in high school, at Rouville High School, won a state championship, played point guard. She will be our 3rd point guard back. She'll play the 3rd string for us at the point guard. She's better on the wing because she can get out and run. She can get out and she can go and she can fly. She's probably the best sheer athlete on our team with explosion and all that. But she's just got to get comfortable, and a conditioning level, again, for her has got to get better. She's got to improve on that. Lonnie Cornfield gives us a different dimension that we didn't have with Deja Almond. Lonnie Cornfield can really shoot the basketball, where that was Day's struggle. However, also the thing that Lonnie has that Day had is defensively, they're both very good, but Day has 4 inches on Lonnie. So that's the biggest difference, where Day's length gave us a different dimension. Lonnie doesn't have that. So again, we think Lonnie will be able to be a difference maker for us there. We will miss Day's length defensively. Femi really has kind of been up and down, to be honest with you. She's really solid. She's just been up and down. She's had some injuries and she's had some soreness. Femi's got to get to a point where she can overcome, soreness and hurting and those things. You just, as you get into the season and you've been practicing, that's going to happen. And she's just got to learn to continue to press through on those things and, again, figure out where she's going. And I think she will be able to help us as well.
I'm going to talk to Coach Melyia now from this perspective. You're going into your third year. You probably went through some similar things learning the system. Could you describe, what that experience was and maybe how you've been able to kind of help the new players trying to learn the system?
I would say as far as like trying to help them like on the sideline, just like pulling them to the side or like actually like just yelling at them while they're on the court, telling them what they should do better the next time or how they can fix it or what I seen that they didn't see that I can show them what they didn't do right that time, but then they can do it right the next time. But it's been cool to be able to sit on the sideline to actually watch and see what our team actually can do. So I see a lot in us, so it's gonna be good.
Melyia, how much does confidence play into basketball?
I'll say a lot. I don't know. I'll say as far as confidence, if you don't have it, it's hard. It's hard to play. You just gotta tell yourself that you got it. Like I do a lot of talking to myself and telling myself that you can do it.
And confidence, you mentioned confidence, and I tell them all the time, confidence is not like a fairy tale. Yeah. It's not like something sprinkled on top of you. You have to build your confidence. Exactly. And it has to be self-talk, and it has to be with reps. Whether it be shooting or whether it be ball handling, it's got to be constant reps. And, we do a shooting drill at the beginning of every day in practice, and they start underneath the basket and it's shooting. And when they finish, they have made 60 shots. Well, if you make 60 out of 75 shots, then you're feeling pretty good when you walk away. And again, that's a mental issue, that you're feeling pretty good about yourself. Now, if you shoot poorly from it, then again, you're not feeling very good about yourself. And so it's kind of like in games. You make that first shot, you're feeling like, yeah, this is going to be a good game for me. And so I think, though, that over time confidence is built. And so I think you have to do that. And be honest with you, some of the younger players struggle in understanding that. Because in high school, you're the best player around and you don't think much about having to prepare. But you mentioned the word mental earlier. Yeah. And I just gave them a lecture the other day. You have to leave your feelings in the parking lot. You got to bring a tough mentality in preparation in the Coliseum to be ready to practice, to prepare.
That's good.
And talking about the Coliseum, we've got games coming up. Do y'all just, before y'all leave, want to give any information or message to the fans about the upcoming season?
We have next Wednesday, we play Auburn Montgomery in an exhibition game. And then we return for our education game against William Carey on that Tuesday, November, I don't know the date. Can you grab that schedule? November the 7th. That's 11 a.m. game. And we've had 9 schools that has responded. Personally, I'm a little disappointed. I've even put it out on social media. I've probably caught a little flack from it. But we're only at 1,400 students. And my opinion is, when you're looking for role models, when you're looking to educate your children, getting them on a college campus, that some kids never get an opportunity to be on a college campus, why not give them an opportunity by bus to get on a college campus, walk around campus, let them see what it is about going to college, give them some exposure, give them an opportunity to see 2 great universities right here in our community, us and William Carey play on that Tuesday, November the 7th. And we need a large crowd because I'm going to tell you, we have a tough game. We have Alabama coming in here in December, and our Thanksgiving tournament is going to be tough with Lamar and Nicholls State. It's not going to be an easy non-conference at all, and we need a lot of people here in Reed Green to get us rolling.
That's facts. Melyia, you got anything to say before we head out?
I think she nailed it.
We'll be there.
Can't wait to see the Lady Eagles play again. We thank y'all for coming again, and we'll be back with our flowers. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
This is 4th Street, and we got Mo Dogs on 88.5 this year.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of the show. We're now giving flowers.
Welcome back to the 4th Street Sports Show. We loved having Coach McNelis. If you see Jackson walking by with the flowers, this is the flower section. But just wanted to thank Coach McNelis and Melyia coming on to the show. And this is the flower section brought to you by University Florist. We have a beautiful arrangement this week going to a very special player who won our Player of the Week poll. And I just want to say a huge thank you to all the fans that voted. We had a record for most votes. I think nearing 500. 14,600 people saw it. So wow.
Y'all are some dogs.
Yeah,
Dogs.
We really want it to be about getting the fans involved and letting them have their voice and things. So we really appreciate that. Before we get into the players, do want to give flowers to the university's new president. He was the interim, but now he will be the 11th president. So flowers to Dr. Joe Paul, but you will not be getting these flowers. You'll be getting just appreciation.
A nice paycheck.
Yeah, nice paycheck. Yeah. But going into our flowers, we'll get it started with the Player of the Week. If I can get a drum roll. That's not a drum roll. Player of the Week goes to Chandler Pittman.
Hey, dog.
What a shocker.
Yeah, we were like, Chandler's probably going to win this, but Ryan Dupley got a lot of votes too, but obviously Chandler with the game-winning 53-yard touchdown catch with 32 seconds left in regulation got ice in his veins, and it's really good to see him start playing. He's been a name that coaches have talked about, and you know he's gotten some touches in these last 2 weeks. Deem is out here acting like a fool. But we are going to talk about our honorable mentions, and Dima was high on this one. Mason Hunt, y'all talked a little about him, but 6 punts for 246 yards, and his longest was actually on that crazy play, 52-yard punt. We like to do stuff for the brand, and Mason Hunt is that guy. I think this is the week for him to win the Ray Guy Award for the week. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Will Hulk compared him to Christian McCaffrey at practice today, and said that he was talking to Frank to teach him how to juke off more defenders.
Hey, Mason Hunt, super back.
Hey.
We might see
New
it.
QB controversy, y'all.
Yeah.
They may or may not have been running fake punts at practice.
Ooh.
Giving away the game plan, jeez.
Well, no, I said may or may not.
I feel like they do that every week, though.
Yeah, they do.
You never know.
Dang.
We saw that in fall camp. So
Yeah. Golf, Ryan Dupuy again. He didn't win. Lots of people were kind of upset with that, but still, we're
He is a
giving
dog.
our flowers. Yeah, first place for the second tournament title for men's golf. So
people
again,
need to understand
Yeah.
how difficult that really is.
I didn't know how
so difficult.
I am horrible at golf, and I'm excited when I get like shoot a 99. But to like win a tournament, you know, like
Yeah.
that is incredible. He gives like really props to him. That's amazing.
And then our final flowers go out to Kenzie Smith, who's been killing it all year. 80 combined assists on the weekend. A season high of 16 digs in the first match, combined 27 and 2, and they earned the series sweep. So congrats to volleyball. And I guess we'll just close out. We're not going to talk about the Cowboys this week, but obviously Kelly Olynyk called game. That was just painful.
Kelly Bird.
Yeah, the Pelicans are going to be a fun team, though, for
Still
everybody. Enjoyed Joy's basketball. Definitely go to see them. But we're just looking forward to this week. Big game coming up on Thursday, a short week. Yeah, so we're going to have the preview on Wednesday. So make sure to tune into that. And as always, follow us on all of our social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And without further ado, in Austin's famous words, do y'all have anything to say before we leave without further ado?
I would definitely be there on Thursday night for the game. If you can, it's like $6 tickets. Like,
Yeah, there's
be
no-
there at the game.
Be
Come
there.
on, my
Yeah.
gosh,
Yeah.
be there. Support this team.
No classes. What are you
Yeah,
gonna be
like
doing?
there's no reason not to go to the game.
And just speaking of Austin, I want to give him a little bit of flowers too. Hope he gets to feeling better. I know
Yeah.
he has a devastating hangover right now. Thoughts and prayers are with him.
Yeah, he had a little too much fun in the Pelicans.
Yeah.
Kelly Olynyk called game in Austin.
Yeah, Austin's just,
I'm surprised Charlie showed up and didn't suffer from PTSD.
man, I don't want to talk any more about that.
Here, the thing is, though, this is something that people gotta understand, and we have time. We do not get to see each other really cheer for games because all the games that we go to, we can't cheer.
No cheering in the
So
press
we
box.
can't cheer in the press box. So when I see Charlie like throwing himself off of the 300 decks, you know, at Pelicans games, we see a whole new side of Charlie. And then Austin drinking daiquiris. So
Y'all don't want to see me at a basketball game, like.
it's something else.
Yeah. But you will not see me doing that at Southern Miss game. I gotta stay neutral.
Yeah.
So without further ado, we are leaving. This has been 4th Street Sports 88.5 FM. Catch us next time Monday at 5 p.m. Peace, y'all.
3, 2, 1. This has been the 4th Street Sports Show. Tune in next Monday at 5.